Hello everyone, my name is Gaurav and welcome again to another exciting episode of Relish with GD. Yes, that's right. Today we are going to make another exciting recipe, an Indian special, also eaten globally and loved by one and all. It's called the Paneer Makhni. Friends, this recipe has two parts to it. One is the basic rich Makhni gravy, gets a lovely deep red color and a lovely fragrance and aroma and texture. And the other is, of course, we have some paneer, which we will nicely dice and then lightly fry and then combine the both together. So I hope you're as ready as I am to see this exciting recipe. Do take a look at this video and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, so like I said, we are going to do the first part of our recipe, which is make the nice red Makhni gravy. So we've got a nice big pot over here. Now in this, the gas is on. I'm just waiting for it to heat up a little bit. Once that is done, I'm going to add some mustard oil. It is preferred to have mustard oil for this recipe. However, you can use the oil of your choice should you want to use something else. Now to this mustard oil, I am going to put in about half a tablespoon of butter. Because it's called a Makhni gravy, it cannot do without butter, so you could be as generous as you would like to with this. So we're not going to let the butter, sort of caramelize a lot. Into this, I'm going to put in 2 sliced onions, roughly sliced. About 7 to 8 cloves of garlic, some thickly chopped ginger. Now this is interesting, I'm going to put in some cardamom pods, green cardamom especially, some soaked cashew nuts to give it that nice richness. What I'm going to do next is the hero of this dish, which is some nice juicy red tomatoes. I've taken about 7 to 8, which is slightly over about 750 grams in total of weight, and we will roughly chop them and add them to this. Now the reason behind chopping everything roughly and not very accurately or very fine is because this is going to keep stewing. So we are going to cover this and let it stew for about 20-25 minutes so that it all integrates nicely into its own juices, and then we're going to blend it, so hence everything is roughly chopped. What goes next is a generous amount of salt, which will also help our onion and tomato start to sweat. Putting a nice heaped teaspoon of coriander powder to this, and about 2 teaspoons of Kashmiri red chili powder. Now you can also be a little generous with the chili, because this is Kashmiri red chili powder. It's not very spicy, but it will impart a nice color to our dish. Okay, so now I'm just going to turn the gas up a little bit, so that we have this nice thing coming together. So a lot of people, when they do this recipe of a basic Makhni gravy, they use whole spices inside this mixture and then blend it. I personally find that if you put whole spices in this mixture and blend it, then it gets a very deep aroma of that whole garam masala. So what I do is I only add cardamom at this stage, and then I blend it along with the cardamom. And then when I finish the dish, then I will add some nicely homemade garam masala on top of it. So you can do it either ways. So I'm just going to mix this until my onions and tomatoes start to sweat. I am not going to brown them because that is not the idea. The idea is to stew this on low heat as much as possible. So we will be covering this shortly. As you can see, this is all coming together very well. Just give it about a couple of minutes to just settle in. So this is coming around lovely. I can already start to get the aroma of the cardamom. It's starting to infuse. Isn't this a lovely color already? Yep. So there we go. Now to this, I'm just going to top it off with a little water. About a cup of it. Just give that one final mix. Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to cover this lovely mixture and I'm going to reduce the flame. In fact, I'm going to move it to another lower flame on the side so that it can keep stewing, or the makhni gravy can keep developing into a rich gravy, and then we'll move on to the other side of the recipe. So while the makhni gravy is on the side and it's getting into this nice thick lovely aromatic mixture, I have about 500 grams of cottage cheese or paneer, and I have soaked this in salted water for about 35 to 40 minutes so it becomes nice and tender and succulent. Now for this recipe, as you know, the way I like it, I am going to shallow fry this paneer, but if you'd like to keep it the way it is up to you. So to this I'm just going to add a little bit of turmeric, nice rich yellow color, and a little bit of Kashmiri red chili powder, and I'm just going to give it a mix with my hands. Now the reason I'm not adding salt to this just now is because if I add salt it will start leaving water, and that's what we don't want. So look at this lovely color of the turmeric and the red chili powder that comes together. Isn't it fantastic? Okay, so this goes on to the side. Okay, so while our cottage cheese has marinated for about 20 minutes now, this is a nice saucepan. I'm going to take some mustard oil in it, maybe a little more. Now to this I'm going to add my cottage cheese that is nicely marinated, evenly distribute it. Okay, so we've shallow fried our cottage cheese or paneer. At this stage I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top of this. That's about it. And I'm going to shut the flame and just give it a nice swirl, a little bit of a toss. And I'm going to transfer it into this bowl so it rests well, and then we can have it as part of our makhni gravy once we are done. Okay, so friends, it's been a good 25-30 minutes now, and we're just going to take the lid off, keep it on the side. And you can see this lovely texture of tomatoes, nice and mushy, looks nice and bright red in color. This is lovely and it's a perfect consistency to blend. So just going to give it a little bit of a mix so it all comes together one last time. And what we do now is we shut the flame and just let it cool down for about 10-15 minutes, and then we blend it. Always blend your mixes or whatever you have when they have cooled down completely. Do not put this hot mixture into the blender, because that's not what we want to do. It's not good for the food, it's not good for the blender as well. So friends, the makhni gravy that we've blended looks like this. I have also strained it, so it's become a nice smooth velvety mixture. And just to show you, after you've strained it thoroughly, this is what remains. So this is pretty much the seeds of all the tomatoes and a little bit of the ginger garlic or whatever is left of it. So this is what should remain at the end of it. No wastage at all. Okay, now let's move on to finishing this dish. Just turn the gas on again. In goes some essential mustard oil. Now let me give you another trick to improve the redness of this dish. Is while we have the mustard oil inside the pan, you can just take about a teaspoonful of Kashmiri red chili powder and just add it to the hot oil. Okay, just swirl that nicely. See the lovely color. And now let's pour this lovely velvety makhni gravy. Okay, see the beautiful red color that comes along. If you can see, the consistency is nice and velvety. It's nice and smooth, very velvety and lovely consistency. Okay, so now we're just going to heat this and bring it to a nice simmer, because when we blended it we had cooled it down completely, so we need to get the temperature back in. Okay, keep this. Another very essential ingredient now, which goes in to sweeten it, is a nice dollop of honey. You can also use sugar. I prefer using honey. And of course a little bit of butter. Okay, so while we were making the makhni gravy, we had added salt. Now let's just taste it a little bit and see. Yes, we need a little bit of salt. Now the butter that I'm using is salted butter, so I'm taking it easy on the salt. What we will do now is take some nice freshly homemade garam masala, sprinkle it on the top, mix it in well. Okay, while this is bubbling away, I'm going to quickly now put in the cottage cheese or the paneer that we had shallow fried. Lovely. Okay, so now this is lovely. Just to finish it, we're going to put in my favorite ingredient. For those of you who have been regularly watching my channel, you know what is coming in store. Yes, you're right. Lovely fragrant kasuri methi or dried fenugreek leaves. See a little bit of contrast against the nice dark orange that you see over here. Oh, it's already started to give out its flavor. Smells lovely. Okay, so friends, I think we are good to plate. Now when I plate this, I'm just going to add some freshly chopped coriander and some lovely cream, and you can enjoy this with your parathas or your naans, and you can make a great weekend out of this. So let's plate up. Okay, so friends, we are ready to plate up. Lovely, delicious Paneer Makhni. Yes, I know you're saying this is too much, but can't help. It's much necessary. So on top of that, to give it a nice contrast, I'm going to put in some nice green coriander, and not to forget a nice dollop of fresh cream. And there goes, friends. I hope you like this. You will make this and enjoy it. Please do subscribe to my channel for many more exciting recipes, and see you soon. Thank you so much.